here I have with me the chart for GBP USD, and it's a zoomed out chart. This is just the 1 hour time frame, and I have made sure that I have zoomed out so that I may show you exactly what I was talking about. Now, sometimes, like I said, we as traders, or in most cases, many traders want to trade a chart which is like this. All right, so the dangers of trading a chart which is like this is that it is zoomed out, so you are going to be catching every move, and of course it's not wrong, all right, to catch all these moves, but then it becomes a problem when they begin to fail and you start wondering what is going on here. All right, I keep on getting stop loss hits, etc., etc. All right, the issue is you're too zoomed in. All right, you're too zoomed in the chart. Sometimes many will be using lower time frames, and as a result, they won't really understand the bigger picture of the market or what the market is doing on the bigger picture. All right, so the first thing that you need to do is zoom out. All right, zoom out to the last zoom out level. All right, zoom out. Once you zoom out, you'll be able now to see a bigger picture of the market. You say, okay, all right, so this is what is really going on in the market. So you can see all these smaller moves that you were able to see have been engulfed by this one pull back and then a push to the downside. Now, this should tell you something. All right, it should be able to help you that, okay, what is going on right here? Okay, so you can say this is the high. All right, and this is the low, and this is the lower high. You get it? So already you were able to see where the market is going to. Now, if we say we play, let me just do a replay, then you can see what is really going on. What is this that is really going on here? So we had a lower low. All right, so we had a high, a low, a lower high, lower low. Then what is the market doing? It is pulling back. Remember, pull back, then we break to the downside. You can see. Let me just pause it right here. So from here we have that high, then we can say we have this lower low. All right, so let's continue and let's see what the market is doing. Okay, so actually what we thought this was the low, the true low, then it's going to be this one. Then let's see how the market continues to play. I think I'll just be waiting for it to create the lower high and the lower low so that we identify it correctly. All right, so the market is still doing its thing. It's still doing its thing. Let's see what is going on right here. Okay. Okay, this seems to be taking a longer than, that's the highest speed we have. That's the highest speed we have. That's the highest speed. So you can see how even that market took longer right here. So that's going to be our lower high right there. I don't know. Then after we have this lower high right here, then the market gives us this lower low. All right. What's going on? Okay, I want to see. Okay, so again we have that lower high right there, and let's see what the market is going to do again. Okay, so we're still going down, so we have this lower low. Again, we have this lower high. You can see now how the market is printing for us the structure that we want to see, right? Okay. Right here we had this lower low, and we had that lower high. Okay. Yeah. What else? This is going to be our lower low. And lower high. We are still watching. So this one becomes our lower low. Now the market begins to break to the upside. So what is going on? This becomes our higher high. All right. So now let me even change the color right here. Okay. That becomes our higher high. So the market has to come and create a higher low, right? Yeah, exactly. So we have now this, to me, I believe. Okay, let's still wait and see. we have not yet created a new higher high. Let's just wait and see what the market is doing. So price is still printing. Price is still printing. Price is still printing. Okay. Great. So we have our low, our higher low right here. Then we have our higher high right there. You can see. Then again, let's just wait. Yeah, great. We have our higher low and our higher high somewhere right here. Let's see. Obviously, yeah, great. So here we are. So you can see how we're able to run this. All right, you can see how we're able to run this. I want you to have this clear understanding of what the market is doing, so that you don't get lost when it comes to identifying which one is your true high, which one is your true low. Because if you become too zoomed in, you are going to identify the wrong structure to be your structure, and that is going to be the recipe for your distraction as a trader. Because one thing that you need to know is that from one swing high to another swing low, there will be multiple of structure in between. All right, that multiple of structure in between, it's just there to help you to catch those continuations. All right, because it's not always that you're going to catch trades from the bottom of it, or from the tip of it, or from the top of it. All right, sometimes you come into the chart when the market has already started pushing. Okay, so it's okay, you can still catch the continuation by understanding the internal structure. So internal structure is going to help you to get those continuations. All right, so let me give you an example of how that can be done. So let me just cut it from right here, or let me just cut it from right here. Okay, so of course, this is something that is done in hindsight. I'm not claiming that, you know, I never knew about this. Of course, I know about this, and you also know about this one. All right, so it's just, I'm just using it as an example to show you how we can maximize on this kind of trades. All right, so let's say now we are zoomed in. We are zoomed out. So already I know where we are coming from. All right, price created this lower high. Then, all right, we broke below this lower low right here. Okay, let's see. Okay, so price created that lower high. Then we broke and created this lower low right here. Now, after we created this lower low, price is now pulling back. After price pulls back, it creates this lower high. All right, then as the market creates this lower high, we are now going to the downside. So at this moment, I know the overall direction of the market. We are downtrend. All right, we are downtrend. So now if we are downtrend, what is going on? Price is beginning to push to the downside. Now you can obviously see that inside there will be this internal structure. I'll just mark them as blue or teal. So there will be this internal structure. Okay, I can pick this low here. Come on, pick this low, lower low, and lower high. And obviously this could be our lower low right here. Now, what should this tell you? All right, what should this tell you? It should tell you that, okay, I'm having an internal structure. The target is this low here. This is the target. All right, so price must come and did I get okay? So price must come and take out this low. This one must go right there. All right, so and price has already started pushing to the downside. Okay, so you can obviously begin to see that here we had some form of a support which became resistance, and price of course came here, and then from there it dropped all the way to the downside. And then what do we have? We have another break, okay, which has not yet been retested by the market. Okay, so I'm going to bring in other aspects, although not necessary at this time, because we are just learning. But let me just add some few things that we can look at. So price seems to be pushing to the upside. Price seems to be here. So I'll take this leg and then I'll begin to analyze and see how am I going to take a trade based off that move. All right, so I have to wait and see how the market is going to pull back. All right. So we can see already that price is beginning to pull back. And of course, we don't have to ignore this low and say, oh, it's not quite important, because sometimes the market can just use the tip of this low to give us those entry criteria. Sometimes the market cannot pull back to this level because this is just about the closing, but also the wick of the candle is very important. And we'll talk about all those things once we get to that particular chapter. So what do we have? We have a bearish engulfing, and then also have a pin bar right here. So we've got multiple confirmation that the market wants to go down. So let's say we take an entry from here, and we just put our stop loss above this high, which is a 16 pips. Then we target this low right here. You see, so this is going to be a 1 to 4, all right, kind of a trade, which is something that is great. So let's see how the market goes. And there it goes. So this one, it hits our take profit. Okay, although it took quite a number of, hours, all right, before it moved to the downside. But then you can see that from here, the market, after giving us those confirmation, the market came and hit our trade. Yeah, that was a good trade. Bravo. Wow. Okay, now, what am I trying to show you here? What I'm trying to show you is you can use internal structure to catch those continuations. That's what I'm trying to tell you here. All right. You don't have to get a trade. You don't have to catch. You don't have to anticipate the turning point of the market. It's not necessary. All right. Not necessary for you. Just wait for the market to give you those 10. Once the market gives you a turning point, then wait for structure within the structure to develop. So what am I trying to explain here? Okay. So we can have this market. Let's say it's dropping like this. All right. Okay. So if the market is dropping, I do not have to anticipate this reversal here. I don't care. You understand? All I need to know is the market is coming from the low, from the high. It has created the lower low. Then the market now is creating the lower high. I don't know where the lower low is going to be. I mean, the lower high is going to be created from. I don't have to know. I don't need to know. All right. But one thing that I can know is that once this is established, okay, the market is not just going to move in a straight line. Of course, sometimes it does, more especially when there is news. And those are times where it becomes difficult for one to trade the market, because news releases will cause the market to move, aggressively, creating those big candles. Okay. But then if the market is just moving in a normal way, all right, after the market creates this area, okay, this reversal here, okay, it creates this lower high, all right, of which I don't need to pinpoint exactly where it's going to be. I just have to know that, okay, it has to be created. So once that happens, the next thing that I will now need to look out for is the market should then do what? The market should then show me internal structure. So once the market begins to give you those internal structure, that is what I am going to follow. You get it? That is what I'm going to follow. So I'm going to follow the internal structure for continuation purposes. All right? Because there's so much money in continuations. All right. So what is going to happen? All right. So if the market was pushing like this, market creating these highs, then price starts doing this. Okay. I know that based off of this, once we have a break of structure, just like what happens on the higher time frame, it might also happen on the lower time frame. All right. So I'll then look for this move right here. All right. Then I'll look for whether it aligns. Again, we'll look at these things later. All right. Then I'll look for a pullback. So once the market gives me a pullback to this area, all right, what am I going to do? I'm going just to get into a trade like that and put my stop loss above and my take profit. Of course, I'll target this low because this is where the market is heading to. So I'm trying to catch a continuation based off internal structure. So internal structure is going to give us what? Those continuation trades that we need. And of course, this is structure on its own, and you can treat it in isolation to the higher time frame structure. But then you can use it together with the higher time frame just to help you, move in the right direction. So let's continue where we continue to look at the market structure where we combine the higher time frame versus the lower time frame continuations. Okay, so again here, what do we have? We have another break of structure, and we can say here our price has broken structure. But also at the same time, we also have a break of structure to the outside. So right here, then you can begin to be really much, careful. Of course, you can take a trade based off maybe, let's say, candlestick patterns, etc., etc. Let's say we take a trade based off these big candlestick, because here we can see the market has started creating some big candlestick. Now, where do I put my stop loss, my take profit? In this situation, I can just target maybe 1 to 3 because I don't have exactly where to target in this situation. So we'll have to wait and see what the market does, if it's going to hit our take profit. And of course, it hits our take profits. But also, if you had waited, sometimes you could even wait for a double top like we had right here. We had one top, second top, then price gave us this bullish and bearish engulfing. There was this a pullback on this candlestick, and then the market continued going to the downside, which is awesome. All right, so I'll also take this one as a trade. Now, this is part of internal structure. All right, this is part of internal structure until we get where, until the market, goes to hit our new low. So once we get here, all right, all of this, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, is part of this move from that high all the way to this low. You see, so this is why I was telling you to say, knowing the bigger picture is something that is going to help you understand what the lower time frame or the lower or the internal structure is doing. Okay, it's going to help you to be on the right side of the market. All right, so again, let us see what the market begins to do. Price then begins to, play around, then begins to pull back, and after it pulls back, okay, what happens? We create this high right here, and from there, even though we don't really have quite a clean structure, all right, but we can begin to look at this area right here and say, okay, are we going to have price pull back into that area? I don't know whether price is going to pull back. So sometimes the market may give us those nice entries, and sometimes it may not just work. So it just all depends with what the market is planning to do. So in this scenario, it worked. All right, so price put back into this area, and then now as price put back into this area, we had a pin bar, bearish pin bar, and then we also had another candlestick which pushed the downside. So we had a price stored around this area, which of course we could have also identified it to be more of our resistance. And then from there, once the market gave us this pin bar right here, the moment it closed, we should have entered, put our stop loss above the pin bar, and our target profit, of course, it has to be this low right here, because that's what we are targeting, and that's a good 1 to 3. You see, that's a good 1 to 3. Okay, so let's see how the market then does. Then it begins to push again to the upside. It wicks the same area, and then boom, again it goes. So after we had this, the market put back to the same area, failed to break that area again. What happened? And I believe this was some kind of a news event, somewhere there, because this is a 1 hour candlestick, so should be some kind of a news event. But look at where the market came back again. It came back to the same area. All right, it came back to the same area, retested this area, and from there, what happens? Price again, you could have still taken this one as another entry, because this was happening somewhere around 8 hours, just after the Frankfurt Open. All right, so you could even take it from here, put your stop loss above, all right, 18 pips, and then you can even target this one, and then it's going to give you a nice 1 to 3. Okay, risk to reward. And this is how you can be able to follow, or rather track, the market structure. All right, so structure is being created as the market continues to go to the downside. Now, I can give you so many examples, but it is not yet time for those examples. It is just time for you to understand how to, use market structure correctly. Let me just give you the last example where we look at internal structure and versus external structure, so that we see how we can build on that. Okay, so again, this is not hindsight. I mean, this is hindsight, something that everybody knows, and you are able to see where I'm cutting the chart. So let's not just get don't attack me, say, hey, you're cutting the charts at the right spot. Yeah, it's for your own learning, so that you see that these things do actually work. Now let's look at what is happening. So we have a low, a high, then price is pulling back. Then now after price is pulling back, like I said, you don't need to know exactly where that pullback is going to happen. The most important thing that you need to know is, okay, I'm coming from the upside, we are in a pullback, regardless of all this noise that is happening right here. All right, all this noise that is happening right here, you can still filter it out by knowing where the market is heading to. That's all. All right, so you know, okay, this is where I'm coming from, and we are right here. So let's assume now that the market begins to push to the upside. All right, so you're able now to see what is being created right here. All right, so we have the market creating structure inside. So we have this area where price came back to, then we are breaking above this area right here. Then after we break above that area, we want to see how the market is then going to move and react. So here we come back to this area. All right, so we are still waiting, because my goal is to buy the market, but then I'm not going to buy until I have a clear push to the upside. So what the market did is that it came back to this area more than 3 times. 1, 2, 3. I mean, more than 2 times, more than once. 1, 2. All right, then what is happening? Price has broken above that area, so I have this as my major structure, my major area of interest. And also apart from that, I'm also having this area, this resistance right here, I was created right here. I mean, this support that was created right there. Okay, so what I want to see is, will the market push to the upside, or will the market push to the downside? Now after we have this, the next thing that we can then do is we can put our Fibonacci right here. Not this one. We can put our Fibonacci right here. Okay, and see where the market is coming to. Okay, so market is now reacting with a 38.2%, and from there the market pushes to the upside. Okay, and in this situation, it's really quite tricky. But then what we can just do is extend our Fibonacci like that, and we can look for 68.1. So here, 68.1, it's not a good area, but we can begin to see that based off this candlestick right here, we've got this rejection candle, another rejection candle, then we have this bullish candlestick, which has just pushed to the upside. Then from there, you can say I'm entering right here. My stop loss down here, which is going to be quite big. You know, I don't subscribe to use 30 pips stop loss. It's just quite too big. All right, so let's see, because if the market goes against you, that's 30 pips is just too big. Okay, so like that, 30 pips is just too big. Okay, so here it fails. Yeah, such kind is going to happen. Such kind is going to happen. All right, so here it fails. So let us still wait, because why am I looking for buying opportunities? I'm looking for buying opportunities because we are in an uptrend. Remember, market pushed to downside, pushed up, pushed. Then we are trying to create a buying opportunity right here. All right, so price comes back to this area. Okay, and we begin to break to the upside now. All right, so here we are now having a clean momentum push to the upside. And if we can have any pullback, any pullback, I'm going to get into a trade. And of course, you can see we are having it right here. Why? Now, why is this area quite important? Because you can see how price reacted off of this area a number of times until we broke above it. Then price came back to it. Now, this candle is quite too big. All right, so we had this reaction here. Then we had that. But then just for the purpose of learning, we have not yet gone to refinements and all that. So just for the purpose of learning. Okay, so let's see if it is also going to work. it seems the market is really playing around with us so much here. All right, so here I would of course target this high, but the ultimate target would be this high right there. Okay, so that would be the ultimate target. So there we go. All right, so you can see how from here we had a lot of issues going on, a lot of things going on, and sometimes it might become very difficult for even one to become patient. Why? Because, you know, yeah, you have to wait for quite a number of times, you know, before you can have, you know, the market give you the things that you really, really want. So here, this is where we took this entry from, and look at the trade that we just caught. It was just a nice trade, more especially that it was also pushed to the upside by the news, which was somewhere, should be NFP. Yeah, somewhere there, NFP. Okay, so that was a good trade. But then, like I said, they will be targeting that high right there. Okay, and of course, sometimes you can become a little bit greedy, and since we already know what happened, so we can even hold up to, yeah, up to that high. Okay, so this thing is going to give you a 1 to 6. Yeah, but it was such a good trade to have taken. Now, this is how you are going to be taking trades. All right, understanding how you can use the higher time frame and the lower time frame together, or internal swing structure versus internal structure, to have one solid thing.